There's no doubt that Southside has helped pioneer the trap sound to what it is today. As his sound continued to evolve, one of my favorite era of his production is when he was going crazy with the glitch effects. Remember tracks like Tweaking by Waka Flocka?
Tweaking, out on my lease, I said I'm tweaking.
Or 15 and the First by Gucci Mane and Waka.
We good right now, man. Get money goods, man. It's a white girl in town.
Those glitchy effects made you knew it was going to be an instant banger. So in today's video, we're going to be cooking up a beat inspired by that style using Flex Beat. And we're going to see if that sound still holds up in today's trap production without feeling outdated. And you want to stick around for the whole video because we'll be addressing common questions about Flex Beat, and I'm going to be dropping some cool tips and tricks that you might not be aware of. Let's start off creating a loop. So we're just going to go to our plugins, but instead of going with the typical strings and horns and orchestra hits, to make it a more modern sound, we're going to aim for a more abstract and an atmospheric sound. So you can hear I kept it very simple. That's the key to these kind of beats. This is a regular D minor chord, which is D, F, A. Then I play a D sus2 chord. So D sus2 is just substituting the third with the second. So the second is E, because if you look at the second note in the scale, it's E, and then the third is F. It gives it that tension. And then I play the minor 6 interval. And it sounds like that. Now I want to add a top line melody. And then what I like to do is actually go to the program and then duplicate to track. It makes it easier to stay on the plugins that I like, because if your default plugin is a whole different plugin from Hype, then it's going to go to that. And then this way I could just go in. I do like the pad warm sound, so I actually want to find another one I can use. Maybe the smooth synth brass. Once again, simplicity is key and leaving a lot of space. Also using the notes in the chord progression. Now we can bring in that iconic piano sound. So I could just go to the next track and then click a new program and then go to favorites and then go to ambient piano 2. So as you can hear, I gave the bass a little bit of offset instead of just starting it on the downbeat, which you can see on both parts. I started on the second beat, just to give it a different groove and not the typical just on the grid kind of melody. Real quick, I want to add a lead to make the melody feel like it's going somewhere. Now for the part that we all been waiting for, let's get into using Flex Beat. Now as far as how to get Flex Beat and load it into your insert, you want to go to menu and then go to your preference and then go to activate plugin. And once you're in activated plugin, if you don't see any of your plugins popping up, you're probably going to have to log in and make an InMusic account if you don't have one. And this is just going to be the faster way for you to find your sounds and download it from here. And then you will see that it will pop up. So as you can see, the Flex Player, you just click it and then you will activate it. Let's start with the pianos. And now I'm just going to hit this eye icon right here to bring up the mixer faster. And then go to the inserts, click in. Akai Professionals, they make the Flex Beat. I'm just going to select that and then go in. Now it may look intimidating if you're new, but it's quite straightforward. And if you click at the top, just like on the rest of the plugins, you have your different presets that you can go through, which is like turntable list. So let's just actually solo our piano. You got stutter effects. Different patterns. That's sick. Basic 8, that's dope. And then you have bonuses. Oh, that's hard. And then you got bonus 2. These ones remind me of FL Studio Gross Beat, where you get to like pitch it up by 1 and by 3. So that is definitely dope. But let's go back to our default and let's click edit. So you may see that I was going through the presets. You may be thinking that's all that they have. But if you click right here, you can see a whole list of different effects that you can use. Yeah, you're not gonna run out of ideas. Now we're just gonna talk about the play modes. We have one shot and we have hold. Loop is self-explanatory. If I click here, it will just keep looping. Most of the pads is already set to loop, so it's not like if you change one, then it all changes. So you're gonna have to go in and change it to the one shot or hold or keep it on loop if you want to. But if I have it on one shot, then what's going to happen is it's going to start on empty, and then if I click a pad, it's going to play it once and then jump back to the empty slot. So let's just do that real quick, but you have to go back to performance. And then I like hold because then I could just hold it for a certain duration, then let go and it would jump back. So put it on hold, and then this is how it will be. Now let's just find one that can go with the piano. Ooh. So I like how this comes in at the fourth beat. With it coming on the fourth beat, I can do something with that. So let's actually put this on hold so I could just come in and then go back out. Now, the way you record it in is you see this right here. This is your automation tool. And right now it's on green, which is called read. But if you hit it, it's going to turn to right, which is going to be red. That's a quick indicator to know if you're recording the automation or not. And you can see it from the top menu right here. If I do green and then red, it switches from right there too. Then you just go back to flex beat and then overdub and play start like you're recording anything else. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Man, that's dope. Now let's see if we can add the flex beat to our counter melody. Make sure when you're still trying to find your sounds, keep it on read. But I did like how the reverse was sounding, so let's just hear that. Oh, yeah. Y'all already know. That's fire. So you know we gotta see if we can add that flex beat to our chords as well. When it comes to chords, man, gates always sound good on it. So let's just go to our gate preset. You can also go to edit and then kind of switch through. There is one that I like, and I think it's in the repeats. DJ patterns, repeat C. Ooh, yeah. Like I said, there's so many to choose from. You're not gonna just run out of ideas. If you find one that you like, let's say you go in and you change it, you can create your own preset. You could just go in and save it. And you could put it on your hard drive, or you could put it on your external drive, and then you could just load it back up with the folder. So this plugin is quite flexible, and I'm gonna explain more of why it is flexible towards the end. Because remember, we're gonna be addressing common questions about the flex beat. So I'm gonna keep that on loop. Now together with all the tracks, it would sound something like this. But there's 3 important things that you should know about flex beats, and that is 1, it don't have re-trigger. So let's go back to the piano. If I hit a pad, it's not starting over to play the whole sound. It's just I was lucky enough to find ones that did play according to the time that I want, in the sense that, okay, this plays on the 4th beat, and the other ones I just looped it, so it plays from the beginning. But let's say you wanted to come in between with the repeated 2 and sound like this. But you won't be able to play that first initial part if you're coming in on the 2nd beat or the 3rd beat. 2, you can automate the flex beats within the grid view using the automation. So I got a flex beat on my lead, for example. Let's say you want to go with the gate. So what you want to do is make sure you have it on loop, because if you have it on one shot or hold, it might not work as well. And go to your grid view, go to your automation, lift up with the arrow, go to your velocity, click in, go to add new, go to program lead, because that's the sound that we're trying to affect. And then you will see your insert. So this is also how you would set up automation for different plugins. Then you will see your flex beat player. Now you want to do the dry and wet knob. You don't want to go to pattern, because if you go to pattern, what is going to happen is if we go to our pencil tool and then we just start drawing in things, you can see that the patterns are changing, like right here, 60, 80, and 20, and then it will sound something like this with all different effects. So you don't want that. So let's just go back into our velocity, go to add new, program lead, flex beat, and then use the dry and wet. Now, it's going to take some practice to how to really draw them in, really carefully. And like I said, flex beat is not a re-trigger plugin. So what you're going to have to do if you want to play the whole thing, you got to start on a bar. Like you see 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, and then you can just draw it in from the bars. And you wanna go all the way to the top, because if you don't, if you did something like this, you can see that the dry and wet is going from 18 all the way to 100. So unless you wanna do a cool effect of your dry going into the wet, then you could do something like that. And then when you don't want it, you could just press the trash can to delete it. 3, you may want to resample your tracks, because the more you play along with it and you have all these flex beats, it may start to just glitch up with other ones. No pun intended. So the way around that is either just going to your track and bouncing to sample right here. But the reason why I don't like to bounce to sample, because it actually bounces to the hard drive. But unless you guys know how to make it bounce to your external drive, please let me know in the comments. But my only workaround for right now is just to solo it and then go to looper, change the input all the way down to resample left and right, and then make sure it's on sync, make sure it's on the amount of bars of your sequence, and then make sure it's on play and not overdub so it won't overwrite. Then hit record and then hit play start. That's just a fast way for me, and then I could just name this piano and then keep, and then I'll just do the same for the synth brass. So go in to looper, just clear that, record. So for this one, since the reverse is coming in like a bar after, and this is not an MPC thing, it does the same thing with FL. Now a quick workaround for that is to do 5 bars. So let's record it. So now I still have that whole thing, and what I can do is just go to edit, and then I could just go in, make sure you get close so you're not messing with the timing, and then process and discard. So then when I hit the pad, it goes like this. And there you go. Let's go over the drums. Now, to not make this video too long, I already did the drums and the 808. So I got a simple hi-hat pattern and an open hat pattern. Open hats landing on the beats. 2, 3, 4. And just a 2-step. Now, when it comes to the kick and snare, there's only so many spots that you can put it into, you know, so many pockets that you can find. It's just a regular, you know, trap pattern. So since I have rolls on the hi-hats, let's try to just put flex beat on the snares. So even if you're in a program, you can actually go to individual pads just by clicking this one right here, and then you can see A2 is just for pad 2, and then pad 3, pad 4, and so on. So pad 2 on my snare, I could apply a flex beat. Ooh, yeah, the reverse one sounds crazy. So I like to put it on hold, like I said, and make sure you're on performance mode. So I could do something like this. Let's record something. Make sure you put it on right. Go to effects beat player, overdub and play start. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, if that's not what you want, all you could do is just go to main, go to your automation. See, I could just zoom in. I didn't want it to play that crazy. As you can see, I'm coming in on the and on this part, and that's what I want to do for this part. So I could just do something like that. Yeah. That's way better. And then we could also apply something on the open hats, and then I like grain hat. So grain hat sounds something like this. It's like a roll for your open hats. So I just want that to come in on the last beat. Now what we can do is, since I know I want to come in on the last section, I could just automate this. So just go back, go to main, change from velocity, add new, pad 4, flex beat, dry wet, and then just kind of zoom out so we could get to that last bar, which is right here. Because then I could just come in at that point and just kind of, you know, like I said, you gotta get used to this. Just kind of mute everything else. Now let's hear how that sounds. Yeah, dope. My rule of thumb is if you have like a lot of kicks and your melodies is going crazy, then make your 808s more spaced out. And that's just gonna give it that feel where an artist can just, you know, jump on it easily. And also a vocal idea is the best thing that you can do in this kind of situation. So together it will all sound like this. Now for a quick Q&A, I watched many other channels on the Flex Beats. So there's 4 main topics I've seen from many producers in the comments of all these other videos, and we're just gonna go over them. Now I watched Bolo's video on Flex Beats, and I'm just gonna add this clip to help clarify a question that you probably have.
If you guys are routing external keyboards inside, you will not be able to use FlexBeat. In that particular case, you'll have to route your sounds inside of the MPC and then use FlexBeat on it from that point.
2, you can't draw in the Flex Beats like you can on the software, but I did watch Ghetto Style video and he had this to say about it.
Now, one of the advantages to having both FlexBeat and the FlexBeat player, you will be able to create custom presets in FlexBeat and transfer those presets for use in the FlexBeat player.
3, you can't use the pads to control the FlexBeat. But for me, that's not a deal breaker. Like the touchscreen, you know, it's not that bad. It would feel better if we could do the pads, but at the end of the day, I'm still glad that there's this kind of plugin because it has many different effects that you can choose from. 4, now the price is currently $42.79. I don't know why the pricing is like that, but it's on sale right now and you probably want to take advantage of that because I think the original price or the retail price is going to be around $85. Now my overall opinion, is it worth it? Well, for me, I would say, yeah, if I didn't get a copy from Akai, I probably would have got it because as far as having a plugin like this, from the simple fact that XY effects can't even record on the match to output 1 and 2 or the returns or like the sub mixes. This should be your main reason why Flex Beats is for you because you can do all these different kind of automations and cool effects way more than the XY effects. And you can do it on your sub mixes, your return, and your output. But let me know in the comment what you guys think. And if you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. Share with your other producer friends. And if you want more help on your drum bounce, you can watch this video next.